Okay, welcome everybody to Medieval 2012. And so now we're going to have an opening presentation in which we introduce you to medieval in general and also to all of the different tasks that we will be hearing about in the next 3 days. Medieval is a workshop that emphasizes interaction. So we hope that you meet a lot of new people and we hope that you learn a lot. And as you can see from the slides already and from the music that you heard at the beginning, Medieval likes to play with the play on words. So multimedia evaluation becomes medieval. So you'll see some medieval themed slides and other things throughout the workshop. We hope that you meet new people. We hope that you learn a lot. So what does Medieval do? So we offer shared tasks that are related to multimedia analysis, retrieval, and exploration. But we're different than other benchmarks and other challenges because we focus on the human and the social aspects. And we're really also like to look at tasks that combine multiple modalities. So music, visual content, text, context, sensors. We're trying to pull it all together to solve a challenge. Every year we present some distinctive mentions to people who are particularly insightful, creative, or take pretty interesting risks in trying to solve medieval tasks. And such teams, they are showing a lot of potential for the future, but they may not score high on the leaderboard. They may not win the task in the conventional sense. And these teams receive distinctive mentions, and that happens at the end. And so these distinctive mentions really embody what medieval is. We're trying to look for the insight, creativity, and risk-taking. And the score of your task, as you have heard us say before, for those who participated, that's not the ultimate goal. The ultimate goal is understanding. So make sure that you think as you listen to the presentations about which teams have achieved insight, creativity, and have taken interesting risks, and be there on the end to hear which teams receive the distinctive mentions. A little bit of history of medieval. So it's founded in 2008 as part of the Clay benchmark and became independent in 2010. And it's open, so anybody can propose a task or sign up to participate. And over the years, medieval tasks and the data sets created by medieval have been the basis for a large number of publications. So those are the working notes preceding publications that we publish each year, journal papers, book chapters, and theses. And thanks to Gabi Constantine, we have an up-to-date count of how many papers that has been since 2008, and it has been 1,012 papers that we know of that have used the task for data in some form. So there's a bibliography on our website which is being updated. So you just get the medieval history gives you a sense of the scope of what we're doing here at Medieval. Okay, I'd like to give you some information about the workshop, and then we're going to launch into the individual short overviews of each of the tasks. But first of all, some general information about the workshop. Make sure that you have access to the workshop proceedings. The preliminary version is here. You received this link in the email, which was labeled questions in advance. In case you missed that, you might want to screenshot or just type out this link so you can look at the proceedings. Another document, I'll just say something as give people a couple moments to screenshot that. Another document that you should have open in front of you is the schedule of the workshop. And that schedule is in your email, but also if you want to find it quickly, it's on the Medieval website as well. Okay, so a little bit more about those questions in advance. I see a lot of people have done that already on Discord. So as we just said, that Medieval Workshop is about insight, where we give these distinctive mentions in order to emphasize insight. And during the workshop, we're really going to focus on discussing the tasks and asking questions about tasks other than the ones you directly participated in. And one thing that people have really liked in past years is the question in advance, or the QIA. And basically you have been assigned a couple of papers for different tasks. And before the workshop, you read them and formulate a question in advance. And then you put the questions in the relevant channel on Discord. So I've seen many, many questions coming through on Discord, but just in case you missed this email, you missed the questions in advance, please do this during break, or you can even do it after we wrap up today or before we start tomorrow, depending on what time zone you're in. And then we can discuss these questions both after the presentation and during the so-called technical retreats, which are our breakout sessions for the tasks, I have more about that on the next slide. So the authors of the paper, feel free, we encourage you to also reply to the questions in advance on Discord. So you can just reply in the text channel when your paper gets questioned, and that will help the discussion keep going, and we can really try to understand what we've achieved this year in terms of approaches that address the tasks. We want to understand your work in more depth. Okay, now I promised you to talk about the technical retreats. Okay, so as you can see from the workshop schedule, and again, if you don't have that link, please go to the website and just have that open next to you as we go through the workshop. You can see in the schedule that we have presentation sessions, and then we go to the technical retreats, which are discussion sections where we discuss tasks, ask questions. And well, why do you want to be at your technical retreat for the task that you participated in? Well, you want to get insight, and you want to lay the groundwork for the future, for next year's task. What's the best approach? Can you give suggestions to the task organizers about where to go next year? What are other teams saying? Now, you shouldn't just go to the technical retreat for the tasks that you participated in, but you should pick out other tasks that you're interested in, and also participate in their technical retreats. That will give you a lot of insight. You'll see at MediaEval, there's a lot of connection between tasks. For example, we have 3 different tasks that are related to news. So you can learn a lot about your tasks by really dipping into the technical retreat of other tasks. And another example is, we know that a lot of new innovation in multimedia comes from the music retrieval community, the music analysis community. So, if you're interested in music, make sure you go and check out what's happening, at that session, at their technical retreat, and think a little bit about, like, what are my broader interests, and how can other tasks really help me in understanding what I've been doing in MediaEval and also recently. So now those technical retreats are on the Discord. And when it says technical retreat on the schedule, then you jump to Discord and you join the voice channel of those retreats. Okay, so here's a really zoomed out screenshot of Discord just to show you how it's set up. So you have your text channels here, which you use for the questions in advance, asking and answering them. And then you have your voice channel for the technical retreat. So they come in 2 groups like this. You might have to click them out to make sure you see all the channels. There's a couple other channels I want to mention now that I'm talking about the Discord. So you have the introduce yourself channel. So you maybe already have discovered that and have introduced yourself and checked out the introductions of other people who are there. And then there's the info desk. So if you're lost, you need help, you need questions, just go into that info desk channel, and we'll try to help you out as soon as we can. Okay, so then just a few words about presenting before we move into the overviews of the tasks. So for presenting, thank you to everybody for uploading the link to your 3-minute video in EasyChair. So this is really helpful. We have those ready in case anybody has a connection problem. We'll roll the video. However, it's not the case that you should be expecting your video to be played. You need to present live during your session. So you have your 3-minute presentation. You should present it live, And at the moment that you present, the person hosting the session will pass you the control. So we'll make you co-host, and that will allow you to be able to share your slides. So please do that when it's your turn in the schedule. Now, we're not going to be recording. We're recording this presentation because I did not pre-record it. But since the other presentations are pre-recorded, we won't be recording them, but rather your backup video will be the one that we put on YouTube if you have given us a permission to do so. Okay, so I'll say a couple words about that later, but basically to make sure your YouTube video is preserved, or your video is preserved for posterity on YouTube, you need to check the box in EasyChair saying, yes, please publish my video. But that video is, today it's backup. We're all presenting live because that helps with the discussion. Final point here, please keep your camera on as much as possible when presenting in the discussion. I know some people have bandwidth problems, and if you do, you might want to just chat in the Discord to say, hey, sorry, I can't turn on my camera because of bandwidth. But it really helps if you're presenting, or if you're in some kind of a discussion session, just keep your camera on, and people have a sense of how many people are here, and that we have really a feeling of presence. So I made an extra slide talking about that. So please keep your camera on. So we have, keeping with our medieval theme, we have this knight here who has their visor down, so nobody can see the face of this person. And so this is probably good if you're going to have a joust, but you're here for insight and discussion. So please don't keep your visor down, keep your camera on as possible. So don't be the visor down knight. We like to see people if possible. Finally mentioning the social media. So do follow us on Twitter. So I'll just give you a moment if you want to screenshot this slide, or you can go directly and follow if you're not following us already, and do tweet about the workshop. So Twitter is the main social media platform that we use for Medieval. We don't have a presence on other platforms. So if you are a social media person, you're our Twitter person, do follow us and do tweet. And to 2021, Medieval 2021. But please, please, please do not share any of the workshop links on social media platforms. We could get Zoom bombs. We don't want that to happen. So do not share the links. If you can't find a link, ask the organizers directly, and we'll try to get it to you as soon as possible. Okay, then I would like to also continue with the acknowledgements. So as I said at the beginning, there's a huge number of people that make Medieval possible. And I want to say a big thank you now here at the beginning of the workshop to all the task organizers. As we go through the tasks, you can really see the time and commitment that they've invested into organizing the individual task. I want to give a special thanks to Gabi Constantine and Stephen Hicks, who are here in the Zoom. And so they have worked enormously hard. For example, Stephen has put together the proceedings. Gabi, as I mentioned, is collecting all sorts of logistics, including giving us the information that we have 1,012 papers that have been published in Medieval since 2008. So thanks a lot. And so Stephen and Gabi are working behind the scenes. I'm going to be the person who's keeping this Zoom running, and Stephen will be working on the Simula Zoom. Gabi is working on Discord, so you can reach us for questions at InfoDesk on Discord, as I said before. So thanks, and reach out if you need help. Okay, so now we go to the tasks. So we're going to have a short overview of all the tasks. Now, the purpose of this is to get you oriented, and you can tell which other tasks that you're really interested in beyond the ones that you participated in, so that you can attend those sessions and participate in those discussions. So I would like to call on Stelios to present the WaterMM, water quality in social media.
Thank you, Martha. Hello to everyone and greetings from Greece. So the WaterMM task, water quality in social multimedia, has an objective to build a binary classification system that will be able to distinguish whether a Twitter post is relevant or not to water quality, safety, and security. You can see two examples here. So even both the two tweets contain words that are relevant to the use case. In some case, it might be something completely irrelevant. The dataset is bilingual. It's both in English and Italian in order to be a bit more challenging. And the participants can tackle this task by using only text features, image features, metadata, or a combination of all these. Next slide, please. Okay, so we offered the participants with a development set of 8,000 manually annotated tweets by experts, and then a test set of 2,000 tweets. There were 5 submission runs, one only for textual, one run for textual and visual features used. The third one was about fusing textual, visual features and kind of metadata, and 2 general runs. The evaluation metric was the F1 score on the test set. We had initially 9 registered teams, but unfortunately, 2 teams managed to submit the results and also the working notes. That's all. Thank you. And I hope next year to see you all physically.
Hello, everybody. Martha, you're muted.
Great. I just said thank you to Stelios and ask you, Philip, to take over for emotions and themes in music.
Okay, so yeah, hello, everybody. Our task is emotions and themes in music, where we ask participants to build the systems that would predict the emotions and themes from the audio data that we have been giving them, like energetic, love, melodic, dark. You can see a lot of examples here on the slide, and you can see some of them are related to emotions, some of them are a bit more difficult, and there are more like theme kind of tags. Next slide. So yeah, this is the 3rd edition of this task, and the data that we are using for this task is the MTGGMeno dataset. The good thing is that the audio can be shared without any problems, which is usually the problem for most of the music datasets. So all the audio is Creative Commons licensed. We have given participants around 18,000 tracks to train their systems and to submit their models. So far, we had in this year we had 4 teams doing the submissions, in total 15 submissions. So come to our presentation if you want to learn more about the submissions, and you can see all the details about the task on this URL here.
Great. Thanks a lot, Philippe. I'm just pausing in case anybody needs that URL. Okay, so now we move on to Emotional Mario. And here we have Matthias Lux presenting.
Hi, everyone. Thanks, Martha. Yeah, Emotional Mario. Who doesn't like Super Mario? Who doesn't like playing video games? And the task is about playing video games and actually liking video games. So it's generally agreed upon in game studies that games are engines of experience. So they are constructed to let people experience a game world. And even Super Mario is a game world to be experienced. And what we wanted to do is to recognize in-game events based on the emotions of people. And what we actually have is footage from the people playing the video games. You can see a few screenshots here. You might recognize that even one of the organizers participated in that. And that's the output of emotion recognition here. Can you change to the next slide, please, Martha? So the Toadstool dataset gives us a ground truth, and we had the face videos and the biometric data from an Empatica E4 wristband. The teams were asked to find events like level ending, power up, loss of life, and so on. This year, this task took place the 2nd time. In the first year, nobody actually volunteered for it. Obviously, it was too complicated, so we turned down the difficulty a little bit. 2 teams registered. Both will present in the afternoon today. and both submitted runs, and it's actually pretty interesting. So I'm looking forward to the presentations. Thanks, Martha.
Yes, that's for sure. Thanks a lot, Matthias. So now we go to Mark, who will be presenting emerging news.
Yeah, hi, Martha. Thank you.
Hi.
So, yeah, emerging news. The task is the first year we are participating in MediaEval, and we had a really good experience on that. And the task is about detecting emerging news. So for us, an emerging news is news that has its potential to become relevant in the future, and it has been already published in social media or in a news feed, but not covered enough and broad. So it's somehow hidden, and the participants need to detect that. And can we go to the next slide? Yeah, so the data we are providing real-time feeds of news and tweets that have been collected from internet and all over the world. And these news are represented in RDF. So we are proposing here a challenge that is using semantic data rather than text-based data. And these RDFs graphs contain entities that are linked to the Wikipedia entities. The solution is evaluated by a panel because this task is a more explorative task. It doesn't have a leaderboard. Therefore, we set up a panel that judge the quality of the proposed solution and also how good they are for journalists. And well, we got a team and finally a submission of team. So we are really happy for that.
Yeah, great. Definitely a challenging task there. We look forward to that. We go on now to sports video. So I'm going to pass the word to Pierre-Etienne.
Hi everyone, this is Pierre-Etienne. So I'm one of the organizers of the sport video, also called fine-grained action detection and classification of table tennis strokes from videos. So this task aims at providing tools to players and coaches in order to improve their training experience in sport, and we apply that to table tennis. This task is based on the TT Stroke 21 dataset. Something special about this dataset, so it has been recorded at the sports faculty of the University of Bordeaux. It's at 120 frames per second. We are using the sailing view, and we have students as players. This year, we worked hard to provide also a baseline to help the participants in their submission. Next slide, please. This year also, we have two subtasks compared to last year's. We had only a stroke classification. So this year, we have added the stroke detection. We have 4 participants in total. So 2 participation in the detection task and 3 participation in the classification task. So meaning that 1 participant participated in both subtasks. So we have our presentation today at 4:15 in the same room, and we have also our technical retreat tomorrow at 2 p.m. on Discord. And what aims, as you can see here, is by looking, for example, for one player, we can have a profiling of this player and all the strokes that this player has performed in the video. Thank you for your attention.
Thanks so much. And so thanks also for announcing your times. But just to get just another reminder for everybody, to get the times of the sessions, please go to the website, and there's a link there that will take you through to the Google document of the workshop schedule. And there you'll find all the, it looks like this, you'll find all of the information about what's when and where. Okay, thanks a lot. So now we're going to move on to visual sentiment analysis. And
I'm gonna do it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Great. Okay, yes.
Yeah. So my name is Zohaib, and I'm from Simulamed, Norway. And I'm one of the organizers of this task. And basically task is to perform the visual sentiment analysis on the images which are related to disasters, natural disasters. And it's like the first time we are hosting this task on MediaEval. And the challenging we face and the challenges was like given to the participants were like subjectivity. The challenge we had to define the sentiments with the images, with the annotations of the images. It's very subjective, and the intensity of the sentiment differ from person to person. So to manage that, we conducted a crowdsourcing study to manage the data. And the task when it comes to detecting the sentiments is to bridge the gap between the visual features and the cognition, human cognition. Next slide, please. So as a result of the crowd study, we ended up like 3 levels of sensitivities of emotions, and we created 3 subtasks for that. And first task was like single label image classification, which is pretty basic when it comes to emotion recognition labels. And then task subsets 2 and subset 3 have like further sensitivities when it comes to emotions invoked by disaster related images. And the data we had was 2,432 images for the dev set and around 1,200 images for the image test set. For this year, we had 18 teams registered and 6 teams submitted their results and 5 teams submitted their working notes. So yeah.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Sohib.
And we're gonna be having our presentation later this afternoon as well.
Yes, we very much look forward to that. Great. Now we're going to move on, and I'm going to pass the word to Benjamin Killa. Benny is going to present those images. Hi.
Hi. Yes, it's a pleasure for me to introduce the news images task this year. So we ran the last couple of years already, and our task has not changed that much, I would say. So this year, again, we had a data set which had news texts as well as images. For our first task to participants, we disconnected them. So they got one set of text and one set of images and had to predict which image is related to which news article. And the second subtask was to predict for pairs of news articles and images how likely it was that a visitor engaged with them. So the broader scheme of our task is to try to better understand what is the correlation between content in the form of images and texts in the news ecosystem. And on the next slide, we have a little peek at the results that we obtained. So the table on the right is anonymized at the moment, but tomorrow at our session at 15:15, you can learn about all the exciting predictions and methods that have been produced by 9 teams that signed up for our task this year. Not really take advantage of all the 5 runs that they could submit, but we still have a lot of interesting ideas, mostly related to transfer learning, embedding learning, and ensembles. And we will have our technical retreat just after the session tomorrow, where we are looking forward to have a lot of interesting discussions around the subject. And if I can just add a little additional motivation to come to our session, the parallel session is about medical images. And if you, like me, don't like to see these medical images, you should definitely come to our session.
Okay, so we have a little bit of competing tasks here, dueling tasks. So with that, we pass off to Stephen, who is going to be telling us about medical images. Yes.
Yep, thank you, Martha. So I'm one of the organizers on Medico, Transparency in Medical Image Segmentation, which is the name of the task this year. So Medico has been is a task which focuses on using machine learning to solve different problems within medicine, and has been running actually since 2017, not 2018, but I've been part of it since 2018. And this year, the main focus was on colon polyp segmentation, and an especially large focus on transparency in the developed algorithms and systems, which are used to segment these polyps. So we provided the participants with a data set, which we've developed at Simula, which is basically polyps and corresponding image masks. So we asked them to develop algorithms and systems to segment these polyps. Next slide, please. So we had 8 teams participating or submitted runs with a variety of different approaches. And the session will be tomorrow at 3:15. And in contrary to what Benjamin said, if you do like gross pictures of colon, then that's the session for you. So I look forward to seeing you there.
And definitely over these years, we've learned a lot about how to look at these colon pictures and what they mean. And yeah, this task has really become more and more interesting to me as time goes on. Thanks a lot, Stephen. So now we go to going to hear about fake news, and I'm passing to Konstantin to tell us that.
Hi, I'm Konstantin from Flexible Research Laboratory, Norway, and I'm one of organizers of fake news, coronavirus, and conspiracy analysis task. So this task is run for second year in MediaEval. And it's all about detecting various conspiracies in connection with coronavirus this year. So we are going to ask, we asked participants this year to distinguish between 11 different conspiracy theories using different NLP approaches, and detect and mark them in different ways in 3 different tasks of different complexity. So nuances of this task this year, so we trying to do it as much as possible to close to the real world, so the data set is very unbalanced and contain really changing samples. Next slide, please. So all in all, we have around 30 participants this year, and 12 teams successfully submitted their purpose and results. So we are really looking forward to see all of you Wednesday at 2 o'clock to listen for brilliant approaches, because it's very surprising, but very many teams get very high performance results this year. Yeah, we are glad to hear. Thank you.
Yeah, great. Very interesting. Okay, and now we're going to look at Insight for Wellbeing and passing to Asim. So please introduce the task.
Okay, hello, can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Asim from University of Technology, Brunei. I'm part of the organizers team for Insight for Wellbeing task. And this year it's focused on transboundary haze problem. Haze is actually describing the air pollution consisting of particulate matter, of smoke or dust, which originates from large-scale forest and land fires, factories, and cars as well. Some countries are severely affected by this on seasonal basis, for example, due to forest fires during dry seasons or slash and burn agricultural practices. The main objective in this task was to accurately predict PM10 pollution values in multiple locations in a country or a group of countries for a few days ahead, so that we can support decision making, whether at personal level to plan an event or make or cancel a trip, or for government levels, maybe to give public health advice or plan school closures. Specifically, we wanted to address the situation where high levels of haze get carried by the wind to cross from one country to the other, creating a recurrent issue common in the ASEAN region of Southeast Asia. So to investigate this, we wanted to leverage multiple data sources that all could play a role in this prediction task, such as sensors data for air quality, for weather as well, hotspot areas identified by satellite images, or other sources that participants may find relevant. The data cover 3 countries, Brunei, Singapore, and Thailand in the ASEAN region, with sensors data spanning from years 2010 until 2019. We used 7 years for training and almost 2 years of data for testing. Next slide, please. The task was organized into 3 subtasks. The first one deals with localized prediction in each country separately. The second investigated the transboundary effect of haze through revisiting subtask 1 while allowing access to data from all countries, in addition to one more country we have given and other data sources. The last subtask investigates the benefit of using transfer learning. For example, pre-trained models from one country where you might have abundant of data to improve the prediction of other countries. The main challenge in this task is probably dealing with heterogeneous structures across and within countries,
For example, different number of stations, not same parameters get recorded, loss of missing data as well, which resonates well with reality where we have faulty machines all the time, changes of policy and data collection and so on. We had 10 teams who had registered. We received 11 runs that we have evaluated, and finally 4 working notes papers that we'll be presenting on Wednesday. So to learn more about this subtask, about this task and its findings, please join us on Wednesday in the scheduled time, plus the technical retreat. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Asim. Let's move now to memorability. Gabi, you were going to do this one, right?
Hi, yes, thank you. Hi, everyone. I am Gabi, one of the organizers of this year's memorability task. So the goal is to predict how memorable a video sequence is. And this year we decided to diversify our data and add videos from the Memento 10K data set, besides the usual TrackVid videos we used last year. We also proposed 2 types of memorability for short term and for long term. And this year we had 3 tracks or 3 subtasks, namely the prediction subtask that implies prediction on one of the 2 data sets, generalization where training is done on one data set and testing is done on the other, and finally a pilot EEG subtask that we are looking into developing into a full subtask for the future versions of the predicting media memorability task. If you can change the slide. Okay, so as I was mentioning, this is the 4th edition of the task, and I've already talked about the newest editions. We received 110 runs to different combinations of these subtasks from 6 participating teams. And we are waiting to see you all on Wednesday at 3 o'clock.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Gabi. Okay, so finally we have arrived at driving road safety forward. The new task for this year, video data privacy. And for this, I'm passing to Meredith. Is that right? Or Alex is going to present?
Actually, to Alex.
Okay.
I'm here, Martha, but I'm about to moderate an
Yeah, I
AGU
see
panel.
Alex has his camera on. Yeah. Go ahead, Alex.
Okay, thank you, Martha. So hi, everyone. I'm Alex Liu from the University of California, Berkeley, representing the Driving Road Safety Forward Video Data Privacy Task, which will be presented at the end of Wednesday, right before the closing of this year's workshop. This project is a collaboration between the National Science Foundation West Big Data Innovation Hub and the United States Network of Regional Innovation Hubs, along with UC Berkeley, the University of Texas at Dallas, Oak Ridge National Laboratory, the Department of Transportation Federal Highway Administration, and a number of community advisors. Although one of our professors, Gerald Friedland, has participated in previous workshops, for most of our organizing team, this represents our first time at MediaEval. We appreciate the warm welcome and the perseverance to shift the workshop to virtual. We were really excited in speaking with Martha and the rest of the MediaEval team about the collaborative community. Specifically, our task aims to enable meaningful video analysis and research that supports transportation safety while simultaneously preserving driver privacy. The video data we provided for this task was collected with the same acquisition system used for the US Second Strategic Highway Research Program Naturalistic Driving Study. The teams were asked to creatively obscure the driver's identity while still allowing for transfer of behavioral information or preservation of actions such as talking, coughing, singing, dancing, and various others. Could you go to the next slide, please? So 2 de-identification approaches were submitted so far, and we hope that more research teams are interested in joining the effort, recognizing the unique opportunity to receive automated and human evaluation feedback and the chance to connect with multidisciplinary researchers from all sectors. Please check out the data and open our Jupyter Notebook tutorials, which have space for highlighting new research and educational resources. We'll also be at the Transportation Research Board annual meeting, January 9th to 13th, 2022 in Washington, D.C. And we encourage additional submissions, research proposals, and ideas focused on this task at the link bit.ly/video data privacy before January 31st, 2022. Thank you. And I'll pass it back to Martha.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Alex. And thank you for being up at 5:45 a.m. I believe it is your time to do that. We really appreciate it. And just to everybody, this task is a new task, challenging task, and it's going to be the final task that will be presented on Wednesday, and that will be in a plenary session. So remember to stay tuned for that. So then that ends the task presentations. So, but we have one more thing that we want to do before we close the session. And in order to do that, I'm going to actually finish up the recording.